St. Francis of Paola was renowned throughout Europe for miracles of healing, prophecy, control over nature, multiplication of food, and even raising the dead. One of the most famous miracles occurred when he crossed the Strait of Messina by spreading his cloak upon the water and sailing across, after boatmen refused him passage. Numerous healings were attributed to him, including the restoration of sight, curing of paralysis, and recovery from terminal illness through prayer alone. The miracle most closely associated with his canonization involved the resurrection of his nephew, Nicholas, who had died suddenly. After fervent prayer, Francis commanded the child to raise in the name of God, and the boy returned to life, an event witnessed by many and carefully examined by church authorities. Along with others rigorously investigated miracles after his death, this confirmed the authenticity of his sanctity. He was canonized in 1519 by Pope Leo X, only 12 years after his death. His life stands as a witness to humility, penance, and unwavering faith that can make even the weakest vessel an instrument of God's extraordinary power. Isn't that beautiful? What a beautiful story of St. Francis of Paola. You know, it kind of reminds me of Saint Raymond of Penafort, who told King James that he needed to convert his life, and the king got very angry because he was with his mistress. And he commanded that St. Raymond of Penafort be brought before him. And St. Raymond of Penafort went out to the water, to the sea, and the soldiers were in hot pursuit. And they saw him throw down his cloak, and he put his staff upon it and stepped aboard and went off sailing. And the king was actually in hot pursuit. And the king collapsed, and he began to beg St. Raymond of Penafort to return to him. And St. Raymond of Penafort didn't. He just continued sailing across the ocean, off into the distance, and disappeared. So when I read that story about St. Francis of Paola doing the same thing, laying down his cloak on the water and then sailing across the Strait of Messina after the boaters refused him passage, that cracked me up. And then the great miracle of the resurrection of his nephew Nicholas. Wow. Can you imagine? I mean, he had so many miracles attributed to him of healing, prophecy, control over nature, multiplication of food, and then raising the dead, and then standing on his cloak and sailing across the water. That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. What a beautiful saint.